therapy. I have with me today Angie, who is an excellent psychic and therapist. She's been in Vanderpump Rules and other shows. She's a big deal, so I'm very excited to have her here to wrap season 1 of Sex and the City. How are you, Angie?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Anything else that you want to add to my intro?
No, tarot is my specialty. I have never labeled myself a therapist, but a lot of my clients do say that. So I'm fine with you acknowledging that. Sure.
That's how you got introduced to me by Casey. She was like, well, she does do therapy around this. So I'm very excited to have you on this episode because there's a lot of that in this episode. So I'll just go scene by scene-ish and prompt some questions to you because there's also a lot of religion. But in this episode, the first scene is Carrie's voiceover explaining to us that Miranda has a new boyfriend, is this playwright that every time after they have sex, he needs to have a shower. And there's like a little kit where they do like 5 times where he does this. And then Miranda is like bitching about it to Carrie and saying like, can you believe I did not know I ended up with the only Catholic in New York? Which obviously coming from Europe, more specifically from Spain, I was like, is it that bad in New York to be a Catholic? And I didn't know that sex was so shamed. What do you think about that?
I mean, to me, it brought me back. I was raised very Catholic. My parents go to church still every day to this day. Or like now they have YouTube Mass, so they'll watch it sometimes. But they'll go in the morning. Like it's very, 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 that like very much hit close to home.
Is it a New York thing then that Catholicism is not a...
I just think nowadays, I think now even more than when that episode was, like people just don't identify with religion. It just is like not. And in New York, it's very progressive. So nobody, even if they were raised a certain way, they're not talking about their religion, much less going to church unless it's with a parent like that,
Yeah. So it like that really shocked me because Miranda was more disgusted about the fact that he was religious than about like that little ritual that he had to do. And how bad is it that in my mind I was like, girl, my bar must be so low because like I would be like, cute.
Totally. I know. I was like, she's really getting extreme with this. But then, by the way, I think she was that extreme with it because look at what it brought out in him, where he got so defensive, and his reaction to it was the part where it was like she was picking up on something that was like like you said, his deep shame. And then it's sort of like, well, you got to deal with your shit, dude. Like to your point, it's like, okay, the act of doing that. I thought that too. I'm like, well, if he's going to smell good and he gets back in bed, I'm like, who cares, right? Like,
who cares?
But then his reaction and how like, and then, that's the part to me that it's like, oh, there's deep shame and all of that. And he's clearly like not looking at his deeper wounding and all of this and how fucked up that is. That like,
absolutely.
That was put on, right?
So that's how we get introduced to like the theme of the episode, which is all religion. So then Carrie's like walking around and thinking about like, oh, our relationships, the religion of the 90s. And then she goes to observe the exit of a church and she's just like fixating on the fashion. It's like, what is it about religion and fashion or God and fashion that goes so well? Which I'm like, what a line. And then she sees Mr. Big putting a woman in a cab and they have a conversation. She finds out that not only he is religious, or his mom is religious, but like he goes with his mom every Sunday to church. And whatever, they have a small conversation about it, and Carrie's like, oh, it was one of those relationship moments where you find out that you know nothing about your partner. How true is that? Like at the end of the day, we don't know anything about Carrie's parents, and somehow she immediately thinks like she needs to know everything about Mr. Big's mother. What about it? Blah, blah, blah. Why religion? Why this church? Can I come?
Well, it becomes very it's like obsessive, right? And like wanting to control or like know everything about him, which I think is that like which felt like the theme of the whole episode as everything continued, right? She wanted to control every piece of it, which is like, right, can be sort of this block in developing a relationship because the more that you can let go and like receive versus try to control it, right? Because that's what I noticed where I was like, oh, each next step she wanted to control it even more. It was like, go on the vacation with it. Like, but she was like, no, if I don't have like, right?
It always seems with her that she thinks he is such a mystery to the point that like he's not even that much of a mystery, but she
totally.
She's just like he's such a...
I don't know about you, but when I watched that in college, because I was in college and we used to watch, and that's why I love that you had this one, because we used to come home drunk, my roommate and I, when we would watch, we had VHS tapes, and would watch that season over and over. So I was like, oh my God, I get to watch this again. But in college, I don't know about you, but when I watched it in college, I was like, oh my God, totally. And like now being like a 46-year-old, I was like, oh girl, it's so good. Just relax a minute and just like enjoy this part of it. You know,
if anything, he might be embarrassed of his mother and church. But honestly, my thing with her is that she always kind of makes it a game. It's like, he's such a mystery. I'm never going to get the validation from him. So let me get all the bonus points through this, like his mother, him taking me to a party. Like it's never straight to the point, which is frustrating. But
totally. And you're just like watching, and I'm like watching him, and I'm like, dude, I get it. You're like, just chill a minute and let's like be right where we're at in the relationship. And she's like, but again, when I watched that in college, I was like, oh my God, Carrie. Like, I don't know. I didn't see it as clearly as I see it now, where I'm like, this is still good.
I mean, the first time that I watched it, like week after week and like that, I was like, oh my God, poor Carrie. She's just so perfect, and like he's so toxic. And I'm like, girl, you're the problem. Because at the beginning he's super chill. So he's just like, okay, cool, bye. They say bye, and then I think all the girls are meeting at a bar, and this is where we get introduced to Samantha's new boyfriend. And Samantha's saying like, guys, I have to tell you something. I think I'm in love. And she starts talking about this guy that she met at a jazz bar, and he was so sweet to her, and they shared a donut. And she looks at Charlotte and she's like, I have to say, all that crap you've been feeding me over the years, it's finally paid off. I get it. I think he could be the one. And then Charlotte is just like, the thought of Samantha getting married before her sent her to do something drastic. And this is where we start with Charlotte visiting all the tarot readers, psychics, to see whether or not she's going to have marriage. Not even find love, not even find a boyfriend, not even be happy, get married. And she first goes into this woman who lives in Brownstone in Upper West Side, allegedly knows Madonna. And, she tells her the usual thing, like, take 3 cards, put them face down, which she does. And she asks her, is there any specific question? And I've been guilty of this, being like, no, nothing really. Or like work, health, family. No, I want to know about love. And she's like, no, I want to know if I'll get married. So she starts putting all the cards face up. And the first card is Ace of Wands, prosperity. 9 of Cups, strength and independence. The Hangman, a new awakening. And she says, you're gonna be a very successful, have a very bright future. You're a very strong, independent woman, but I don't see marriage. I want to know everything about what you think about this reading. What do these cards mean? How would you have read them? And was this psychic legit?
It's so funny because watching it as someone, I take such a different approach to things because I believe that we are here to work through our lessons, right? And like as we work through, we get to like evolve, like we're here to evolve, right? And we came in with certain like things. And it's funny, I also read it upside down, like when you just said them, because the way they showed on the screen was the other way. But either way, so clearly to me, the message there. And again, the way I read is also I'm like a channel, like the message, the cards show me, and then I'm told how to say things, right? For the person. So sometimes the cards, two people could pull the same 3 cards, and the way the message comes out of me is very different, right? Like I recently did this thing in New York where I was reading for like 20 people, and my partner in designing my deck was with me, and she was like, oh my God, it's so cool. Cause she's like, now I kind of know the tarot, but she's like, now I saw how all of a sudden you just start like, she got to see it in action where like, it's really hard to explain. I'm like, it just comes out, and I'm pointing to the cards, but the way the message comes through is different. But anyway, this to me was so insanely clear for Charlotte, because the message was, honey, you are living your best life. You are being given every opportunity. You are being shown relationships. Just enjoy right where you're at. Like it's basically saying, stop skipping to marriage. Be where you're at. We're bringing you, but you have to completely love yourself until you get to the point where so that's my take. Like, yes, by the way, that psychic, that was not wrong. And the way they wrote it, I was like, genius. And even when I've consulted on other movies, I will tell you, I was thinking about this in yoga today, because I was like, I consulted for this tarot movie that came out, this like horror movie, but certain people in the movie, like I consulted them on like how to pull the card, all the things that were like, so it was so much fun. But I definitely read for different actors in it, who there was like an older woman, and she was like mad at me that I didn't speak to the darkness of things more. Because to me, like this psychic telling that to Charlotte is sort of like, well, you're not getting married. Like, I don't see marriage, right? Instead of like, you need to get to the point where you completely love yourself. And right now you will not be brought an option. And you could even take it further. Like maybe her dharma is that your relationship is not going to be your dharma isn't to be like my romantic, you know how some people you're just like, they were made to love each other. And this is like, and it's easy. And some people they have to go, like mine might be like, I want to go be a monk on the thing, but like, no, you're here to work through relationships. So you get in relationship, you have to work through it. Yeah. Some people, everyone has different things. For Charlotte, it's like, your life is amazing. Enjoy this. And to me, that means, and then we can bring you the partner or the relationship, but you have to learn to be really good, which makes so much sense for her, right? Like, yes, like for her, but for the story of it, it's so much better. And I guess that's where I was saying, I was thinking of myself consulting, where some people get like, because the story's not as interesting if you're like, you have to learn this and then you can like, then things can happen. For the story, it's so much better to be like, this is it. Like, no, I don't see marriage.
It's not
that
on the
psychic
cards.
is not. Yeah, and it's not a wrong way to say it, but again, to me, it's reading the moment. And what I would say to her is like, you have to fall in love completely with your life the way that it is, and not needing the relationship, and then the relationship can come to you. Then the marriage can come to you. Yeah.
Which totally, like, honestly, just by her question being, am I going to get married? Not, am I going to find the man of my life? And how does that look like? But anyway.
Right, exactly. Yes. Totally.
So that makes a lot of sense to me. But I have a question. What did the older actress mean by speaking to the darkness?
Like she would just, so like my approach to things, like I think why I'm not for everyone, right? Like I like to be like, what are we here to learn and work through, and like find, be elevated, to be more enlightened. Like how do I like rise up? Whereas she was like, there are ghosts in my house, like things are dark. And like, it was like she did it. And this is like can be an older generation thing too, in a bad and a good way. My parents were very Catholic. Were like, no, like that's bad. Your great grandmother would see all this death. She threw the cards away. They're dark. They're bad. They're dark. They're bad. They're shame, right? Yeah. Whereas like And so this older woman was like, there's scariness. This is a scary thing. This is dark. Whereas my approach is like, oh yeah, I might see this is going to be a hard time. You're going to go through like the darkness, or you're going to have you're going to have your, rising phoenix, or your transformation, or whatever it is. Like this isn't just like life is all rainbows and moonbeams, right? It's like, we are here to like work through the hard stuff, but it's not to be like, you're cursed for life, or like, no, you came here to learn something and work through it. And there was just this, like, I can't even explain it exactly. I was like feeling it in yoga though, where I was like seeing it in a way, because I almost felt bad. I was like, she doesn't think I'm good at what I do. It was like, she didn't like that my approach was to like find the
positive spin.
So, and not even the positive spin, but to find the other
constructive
side.
Yeah.
Yes. But I liked that this reading actually wasn't dark, right? It wasn't like there were like horrible cards there. It was just like
I was gonna say it was a great set of cards. Like everything around this says like you're gonna be happy and fulfilled. You're fixating on this one thing. Okay, so I think the next scene is Carrie and Mr. Big having dinner in Mr. Big's apartment, and then Carrie is just like a dog with a bone. Like, so when am I gonna meet this mommy? Which also, I don't know why it had the wrong ring to it. That she was like mocking him. And it felt like,
so immature, right? Like watching it now, aren't you like, oh my God, you're so immature. Come on. Yes. Cringe.
I could not. And he was just like, listen, no. And she went again. He was like, no. Like, and then he was like, clear boundary. This is something private that I do with my mother. And I
totally
kind of respect that. I'm like, cool.
Same. Also respect it in a way where it's like, don't you want your partner to want you to introduce? Like, it's like, Carrie, read the room. Like, you're so aware and you do these writings where you're like helping people. But then like, how are you not seeing, like, why would you want to meet her if he's not like...
Also, why would you want to meet her in a church? Nobody can talk. It's like going to a movie about what?
I know.
Like, of all the places. And then he kind of throws in there as a consolation prize, like, why don't we go to the Caribbean? I'll pay for everything. Because watching that scene, I was immediately like pretending to be Carrie, like, oh my God, of course, that's okay. Whenever you're ready. But like, apparently I need to be a pain in the ass, and then somebody will take me to like St. Kitts or whatever it was that they were going to. I was like, okay, so it pays off to be a clingy, needy bitch. So she's just like, cool.
I didn't think of it like that.
I was just like thinking, like, honestly, my bar is so low. Like, I'm always like, no, everything's okay. My needs come second, of course. Nothing means anything. But they leave it at that. And then I think that, of course, Carrie goes and convinces Miranda to go with her to church to stalk them. And Miranda agrees, because she's not really like the sane one. But she agrees. They go. But
by the way, I would probably go with a friend too, because I'd be like, oh, this is going to be interesting. Like, I want 100% the observer in this. Like, you can still be the fully sane one, and you're like, my friend's a little insane, but like, I'm gonna go support and like hold it down.
I would try to avoid it. I was like, listen, it's a lot more like fine, you want to stalk, let's talk, but like, let's come at the exit of the church and you can be dressed in like that.
Totally.
Like, steer the wheel a little bit. So they go in dressed like I don't know what. And then they go upstairs and Carrie's like, oh, I see him. He's so proud. He's so handsome with his mother. And I agree. It's something sweet to see your significant other do. And then, they have that incident where she like topples over her Bible because, of course, it's an accessory. And they see them and she's super embarrassed. And then Carrie's like, no, they saw me. I have to say hello. And
after that, I was like, just run and send him like a voice note. They didn't have voice notes then. Send a text.
Leave a voice.
Whatever, like call.
Yeah. Just say I'm sorry.
Like, get out. Same. I was like, what is she doing? Oh my God.
So this was
Cringe
very
number
painful to
45.
watch. Yes, because after that, she's like, go, go, go. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then Mr. Big comes with his mother, and I'm like, hi. Hi, mother. This is my friend, Carrie. And Carrie clocks the word friend. And then in the voiceover says, I was looking for any kind of like, oh, Carrie, but nothing came. So Carrie's like, I'm Carrie. and, and it's just like, lovely to meet you there. Like, bye. Because the mother does not understand what's going on. And of course, if I were Mr. Big, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Do I need to file in a restraining order?
Totally.
I told you this was a private thing. And not only you come, but you come with a friend and you drop a Bible and then you do this. But no, he's actually quite cool.
By the way, as you're saying this, can I tell you something? So I channel through music and I put my channeling music on. So it kind of talks with us, because especially if we pull some cards later. But as you're talking about this, the song playing is Pray for Me by Laura Marlene. So it's also, honestly, I feel that is like on double entendre, because it's like talking about the church, but also it's like for Carrie, like, oh my God, like
we do need to pray for all the Carries out there, because this delusion has been going on forever. But he takes, like, he's so kind of like cool, calm, and collected, and he's like, listen, my mother doesn't need to meet another girlfriend. And she takes full offense at that. He's like, we're going on holiday in 2 days. We can talk about this plenty then, which is true. Right. And she just looks at him like, no, you need to comfort me some more, which again, me, I would have been like, of course it's okay. Go. I'm so sorry. But no, she stays there and he leaves. And you can tell that he feels sad about leaving her not feeling okay.
Totally.
Also sweet.
Totally.
And then,
by the way, I will say he didn't have to say she doesn't have to meet another girlfriend, but I also was like, I know where he's getting at. Like, it could have been from high school. Like, it doesn't have, like, he could have said that a little bit better, right? But for the most part, it's like, he's just being really honest, and he's kind of being a dude about it. And he's just like, listen, like, this is not where I'm at.
What if his mom was horrible to every single significant other? Like, we don't know. She's just trying to get, she thinks that by getting the mother, then it'll mean that he loves her.
Yeah.
No. But anyway, she goes into the church, and then Miranda, she's such a good friend. She comes into the church, scoot over, sits next to her. She's like, you didn't seem fine. And whatever. And they have a little conversation, and Carrie just blurts all this stuff out. And she's like, ugh, I just can't get inside. Like, might as I try. I can't get inside. I've tried everything. I'm like, girl, you have tried everything but asking him straightforward questions. Like, you keep playing these games.
Yeah.
And then Miranda tries to comfort her, and she's like, don't lie. This is the church. He's 1 foot out. And I'm like, are we all watching the same thing?
Wait, Miranda said that?
No. Carrie said
that.
Yeah. She's just like, okay, don't lie, because Miranda was like, maybe they're not that close. And Carrie's like, don't lie, this is a church. And she basically says, like, he's just, I can't get him. Like, I can't get inside his heart. And it's just, it's very frustrating. And then I think we see the other storylines develop. Miranda has this conversation with the playwright where she's just like, they have sex and he's about to go to the shower. She's like, no, wait, let me hold you. And this is obviously after that time where he explained to her that it was because of the nuns and that sex was a sin, and you had to wash that over. And she's like, no, I want to hold you. And he's like, no, I'll be right back. And then Miranda tries to argue the case for sex in the case of sex versus religion. And he goes ballistic about, like, what are you going to say, Miranda? That God made the body, and if the body is an expression of God, then everything. I was like, oh, I'm cured. And yeah, he loses his plot. Like, what do you think about that? If you saw that being Miranda, would you be like, whoa, dude?
I would, like, I actually thought Miranda handled it really, really well. Like, I was like, oh, I feel like she was being really mature. She was like, okay, I'm going to just like have this conversation. And like, he clearly is like an artist who like has feel, but again, to me, there was like, that was like all that shame coming out, right? Like, and it was so like, I don't know. I just felt like,
Yeah.
well, at least she saw it all very clearly then, and like whatever, he left, but it was almost like, okay, like good riddance, you know? Like,
No, totally.
like,
The one thing when he was like, I'm going to go into the shower and when I come out, I hope you're not here. I was like,
oh, that's right. She had to leave. She was at his place. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But that was brutal. And she was like, yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's a great
exactly.
idea. I would have been like, how dare you? I would have burned something on my way out.
Right. But I feel like that's the thing where you're just like, oh, thanks for making it super clear. Because again, she went into it in this kind way. She wasn't like again, immature me might have been like, this is weird. I wouldn't know how to say it. I thought she did it in such a kind, way. And I was like, oh. And I feel like even the way the episode ends, she's rewarded for that, which I won't get ahead. You're so good at telling this story. I'm sorry, I skip ahead. But I'm like, but the way she handled it to me, I was like, she really showed up the opposite of Carrie, where she was really mature, and like, let's figure this out together. And
yeah. And no, apparently both Miranda and him got a lot out of it, because apparently then he also made a very good play.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, exactly.
With that,
he used his feelings and put it into there. Yeah.
So we hope
that is some deep-rooted Catholic guilt. Like, that is like when you talk about religion, and like, to me, religion is like wanting us to be closer to God, and God to me is like our higher self, our best self, our like most and
moral compass.
So yes, and so to me, the Catholic religion, like, there's a loss in there, because shame and creating more fear out of people is like not a way to connect to your highest self. Like, that to me is where religion has like lost the plot, right?
You put it beautifully. Yeah.
And where you see in him, you're like, oh, he can't see, like, clearly he's a smart, intelligent, like, writer, like, who's like created a life for himself, but he cannot get past the like ancestral trauma of like what Catholic guilt and shame has like been put on him, right?
Yeah. No, that was a very explosive ending. But then I think they all go into this party called Fallen Angel, because of course religion's still the topic of this episode.
Oh my God, I missed the Fallen Angel of it. Yes. Oh, you're right.
The writers were so good.
So good.
At the beginning of this show, because everything ties in. And,
so good.
It's a party thrown by Stanford, who for once has found somebody who wants him back. And Carrie looks horrible with his horrible extensions. And they're all
those extensions.
They were horrible. But I think they're all talking about how Samantha has finally slept with James. And they're like, how was it? And someone's like, nice. And they're like, oh, good. And she just bursts into tears and they're like, what's going on? And Samantha's like, he has a small penis. And then she just can't control it. It's like 3 inches hard. And they're just like, oh my God. And Charlotte is such a good friend. She's like, well, how is he a good kisser? And Samantha says, who the fuck cares? Like, the whole thing is so tragic.
That's so good.
And I love Samantha, but like, I'm like, how tragic is it that they give this woman in her storyline a romance and they make him with a small penis?
But do you see what I think though? Like, there's like something, what I kept feeling is, I was like, she's being shown though, like, what I kind of felt is, I was like, oh, she always just has sex, so she never gives an opportunity. But like, this time showed her, if you waited before going all the way, like getting right to sex, if you actually waited, you might fall in love more easily. Like, I felt like it was sort of this thing to be like, what if you didn't just always make it about sex and you actually like opened up to the feelings? And this was clearly like it also was like, I just kept thinking, try this again, try not going there again and see what happens.
The cynic Samantha in me was like, if this is the universe telling me something, is stick to your lane. You steered to the other.
No, because to me, it's the test. It's the test of the universe to be like, look, you opened your heart, you felt it. Now we're testing you. Are you going to open your heart again? And you're right. This to me is like the deeper context of like the dark tarot versus the light. You could stay in your lane and it could be great and it could feel good, but you may never open your heart more. Or now you can risk again and open your heart again and wait for the big penis with the like all the love. Like,
yes, it was, to me, it was hilarious. I think, you know, they have like a hilarious interaction between the four of them in a bathroom, which is so sweet.
So good.
And then Miranda gets approached by Skipper, and that's when she gets her redemption in this episode, because Skipper is still like, oh my God, you look great, so do you. And then, you know, she's like,
that's why I was saying the universe to me, like she was rewarded because she was so mature in that. Like she could have just been like, you're weird, what's wrong with you? Like she was like, let's talk about this, stay here with me. I thought she approached it like with such a kind, loving heart. And then him being like the asshole to her and like being like, get out. She was rewarded. Like, like this was like the universe being like, you kept your heart open and you tried. And so we're going to bring you love in a different shape and form, you know, like, I don't know. I thought that was like a beautiful, I was like, oh, good. And he's so sweet, you know?
And she always looks beautiful around Skipper. I don't know if that's on purpose or that's just me, but like she does look more beautiful around Skipper, even though it's obvious that he's not for her.
Right.
But then I think the last two things in this episode is Charlotte going into a part of New York that doesn't appear in the New Yorker. To go to like a santera or something like that. Like it looked like a Brazilian, not Spanish, because they kept saying like Spanish. And I'm like, that woman does not sound Spanish.
Oh, interesting.
She reminded me of like some I don't know if it's black magic, but some magic that I've seen in Brazil that they do with chickens and stuff like that. And there is a translator with the witch or whatever you want to call her. I think in the paper it said Santera or something like that. And she's calling Saint I don't know what and Saint I don't know what else and da-da-da. And then I've seen people do the egg thing, but they've rubbed the egg on me. She just...
Wait, I've never seen the egg thing. So what is she... So...
Okay, so last year I went to Oaxaca in Mexico. Yeah. And last year was such a tough year for me. I was like, we had a tour guide and he started talking about something like that. I'm like, wait a second, do you know a psychic? Because I need some guidance. And he was like, oh, we need to drive into a very like far away part, very poor. And there is this psychic, Don Crispin. I was like, okay, I don't care how far it is. We got to go see Don Crispin. And then Oaxaca is known for like mezcal and like they're very connected to earth. They had all this, what we would call pagan costumes and rituals that they used to do to get more out of the earth and more from like the rain and stuff like that. So it is a very spiritual part of Mexico. We get to Don Crispin and like, honestly, the guy just looked at me and he kind of hit me with this like herbs, and then he rubbed this 3 eggs on like my face and my chest. And then
was he saying anything when he was doing this?
He was asking me questions, but on like knowing things about me already. So and he was spot on. And then he spit mezcal on my face and on my back. And then he cracked the 3 eggs into a glass, looked at the yolks in the glass, and gave me the reading.
Wow.
So that's the thing.
My head's getting all tingly when you talk about it. That's cool.
Yeah, that it was very cool. And I was like,
What was like the sort of sum up of their eating? Can you tell any of it?
Basically, yeah, he looked at me and he was like, you fell in love with someone and you loved him very much, but he made fun of you. And he said, don't worry, he's miserable too. And then he said, like, he spit mezcal all over me and hit me again with the herbs and then read the yolks and said, like, there's a lot of light now coming your way. And literally the next day I met a guy. So
No.
yes.
God.
Yes. Which was like a perfect fling. But I was like, Don Crispin.
But it like opened you up again.
Yeah. Don Crispin was worth every single dollar of those $5 or $3 that I paid him.
Shut up. It was like $5?
Yeah. He was like a man wearing like a marketing t-shirt of I don't know what in the middle of nowhere that lived very humbly. And
wow.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So there's something about the egg yolks in South America. I don't know who their consultant was for this episode, but I didn't understand like whatever. Then they crack the egg is like no joke or no yolk. Struggle with that word. And somebody has put a curse on you, but for $100 we can get rid of it. And again, let me tell you, I would have been like, oh my God, only 100? Here you go. Get rid of it.
Right.
But Charlotte was like offended, stood up and walked away. What, like watching that from your
I would have walked away too, though, because see, my point of view is I'm like, and I've actually in the last year gotten into so many conversations about this where it's not to say I don't believe in curses, but I kind of don't believe in curses. There's something that is like, if you are being very clear and good with your energy,
yes,
I think a curse cannot actually
tap into.
Like, yeah, yes, because if you've done something karmically where you've questioned or you've hurt someone, and then they're like sending that back at you, or you are being. There's a righting and a wrong. There is like a karmic. I do think in how our belief system, what we know that but I think in terms of like someone being able to just put a curse on you, like usually that happens because there's like not because that happened, but I think if you're fully in your power and setting strong intention, you can block a curse. I think. I think her walking away, I kind of love that she walked away because she's sort of like, I've had it. These people can't tell me the truth of what I know. Like, that's where I took it. Like, good for her. She was like, I don't want this to, because I'm also the type where I would never want someone. I always tell people like, come back wait as long as you can to come back to me. You know what I mean? Like, sort of like, instead of like, let me tell you how else you can pay me money to do things, right? Like, that's why you saying Don Crispin was $5. I'm like, oh, that is a talent and a gift that like he clearly knows he has, and he's not trying to. And like you said, it was effing powerful. You saw the next day how it lifted it unblocked you, right? In a way that's very powerful. And it was $5. Like that to me is like that. I always say to people, I'm like, the longer that I do this, the more I'm like, how can I find other things where this gift can just be something that I give back versus having to like make it my living? Because like I even said to you, I try to make it where I want to help someone so that they don't feel like they have to come back again, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's like a good physiotherapist. If they do their job right, you only get to see them like once every injury.
Totally. But by the way, also I will say this too, like you, I might have them lift the curse too, because I would be like, what are they going to do? I would be so curious to be like, like I wouldn't be like, I'm not about it, but
I'm not going to take any chances.
Totally. You're like, I might as well. Like, 1,000%.
Like what's $100 compared to
totally.
But,
But I've just had stories of people saying like, I had to go take out more money because they told me like, and I'm just like, no, this is all not right. Do you know what I mean? Like if you go to someone and then they're asking for more, like that just already doesn't feel quite
I
right.
know.
You know what I mean?
But that happened to the cousin of a friend of mine. Like, she was starting in the New York Film Academy, and as part of her end of like graduating project, she went into the Amazon to film the kind of like tribes in there, and she had to hire Sherpas because it was like an 8-hour track, and like obviously with all the camera equipment. And she finally gets there, and she's like, okay, can I start filming? They're like, yeah, but it's gonna be $20 an hour. She was like, what? Because I guess it's so common for people to go and try and film them. And she was like, no, but you don't understand. I'm a student. This is like part of my final year project. So she was like, okay, I'm not filming, but I'm going to spend the day here because it's like 8 hours to go back and I'm exhausted. And she took part of some rituals, etc. And they made her chew on something, drink something else. Then she spent like an hour and a half throwing up. And then this witch told her, like, you have cancer, but for $50, I can get rid of it. And let me tell you, she was like, of course I fucking paid it. One, if it's cancer and it cost me $50 to get rid of it, cheap. And two, if I say no and I'm in the middle of the Amazon with only 8 hours to get it, like what? I felt like I was paying $50 for my life either way.
Totally. Oh my
God. But
God.
I was like, whoa. Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, after that, the end of the season is super sad. Mr. Big goes to pick up Carrie, and she's having this dialogue with herself about faith and a sign and I don't know what, and she can't. And she's thinking like, oh, can I go on this trip with Mr. Big? And she's very conflicted. And as they're about to go into the limousine, she's just like, I need a sign. My faith is wavering, so I need a sign. Tell me I'm the one. And he can't.
He's such a dude the whole time, though, too. I'm just like, I just feel like he's just like everything when I watch it. Again, when I was young, I think I was like, oh, come on, what's wrong with him? And now I watch it and I'm like, oh my God, he's just being really honest with right where he's at. And it's not meaning that she couldn't be the one. He's just not lying to her. And wouldn't she rather like be, and you see how much of it she's just created this whole thing. And I'm like, you could have just had the most magical trip that could have brought you so much closer, and you could have talked about things and like and you just blocked your own progress. And again, she closed her heart down rather than opening it up to be like, okay, what am I gonna learn about myself on this trip and about us? And she thwarted it.
And like she has this then little speech that is like very nice. Like, I learned that I should have faith in finding somebody that wants to love me the way that I want to be loved, or something that makes a lot of sense.
But he could get there
on his own time.
Yes.
In the same thing, or you could say like Mr. Big could be having the same conversation, be like, I deserve somebody who respects my timing and my boundaries.
Yes. Yeah. So, but if you think of it, that's such a common theme for as women, we feel like we're right. It is like that. And I think as we grow in humanity and as a species and whatever, like that's shifting, right? Our gender roles are like definitely moving like this. But yeah, watching this, I was just like, oh, just like, sometimes we as women also want to control things, where I find myself giving this advice more to people where it's like, if you can just try not to control it, like don't end it, but it doesn't mean you're holding on to him forever. It's just taking this next step to see, right? Where I was like, oh my God, please just get in the car and go see what it shows you. Even if afterwards you're like, we talked about it and he couldn't give me what I needed. Yeah. But like, go see. Yeah, that's where like, and again, it feels very like.
For that, I'm like her. Sometimes I have an agenda and I don't fucking care about like reading the room, the timing. I'm like, I came here with a mission and the mission will be completed before everybody leaves.
Which is also, I guess, not a bad way, but she was grappling with so much. And that's why I was like, oh, but you got so sad before you even had to be sad, because he still, that's where I felt like I love that you have the agenda and you can like go in, because I think sometimes that's like super powerful too, because then you can call in exactly what you got. You can be in that, but she was calling it in the sadness of it versus like, keep your heart open on the trip, like push yourself past this moment of like discomfort.
Yeah.
Instead of just choosing to go cry at home alone, you know?
I do think it's a fine balance between, you know, asking for what you want and what you need, but also reading the room and respecting other people's timings.
Exactly. And like knowing what
Yes.
you want, being like, or like the answer would be like, I'm coming on the trip and I'm having a hard time with this, but can we have that conversation on the trip? Like, to me, that's the way of like having
compromise,
knowing what you want, but like not, because it's almost like she blew it up before she gave it a chance to like
100%
be more. Yeah.
So that's the end of the episode and the end of the season. And then as part of the end of my episodes, I would love for you to maybe do a reading for each one of the girls. And I have written down what I think they would come and ask you if they were to come and see you.
Fun. Okay.
So Samantha would go with Charlotte to this fat part of town and she would be like, I don't want to do it. And then she'd be like, you know what? Fine. And then she would come to you and say she thinks she's found the love of her life, but not everything's perfect. Do you think that I can find true happiness with him, or is this not it?
Okay, so this is about Sam, and this is her still like with small penis.
With James, yeah.
With James.
With a small penis, yes.
Yep.
So she wouldn't be crass about it, but she would want to know, like, can she find her way around happiness with him?
Oh, I love this. Okay, I love the cards. The first card is like, you are in a very this is a very fun loving, like, here's the first card, the Three of Cups, which is to me like Sex and the City. Listen, it's the women drinking. It's like you are living your best life and you're loving, but that's not a partnership card, right? It's a card about love. That card also, the Three of Cups, can be when you're dating multiple people or maybe sleeping with multiple people. It is still the idea of like, I'm enjoying my life and I'm enjoying love in its many forms. The next card is the Hierophant, which is like you have come across. So what I would say is like in meeting James, you have come across a very deeply important relationship that is teaching you a lot about yourself, which is kind of what we were saying before, right? Like, oh, she opened her heart. He opened up, he unlocked something in you that showed you this was a very karmic. If I would see this too, I'd be like, this is a very important relationship for you. Like, but again, with the basis of this still. So it's like, allow this relationship to show you something and to teach you something. And the last card is the Hanged Man upside down, which is like, what I would say is like, the way I would read this is like, let yourself learn what you're learning, but it's not a time for you to force partnership, but really trust in what you are learning from this relationship. And any conflict, I just pulled one more to see what, like, and it reads like, any conflict this is bringing up for you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So remember I said I play with the music. You're going to die when you hear Samantha's song. Because I was like, what songs are we going to get for each character? Sex on the Regular by Miniature Tigers. Which to me is like, so the conflict comes up and it's like, what? Right? So like, to me, that's like, but the conflict that comes up is like, what do you want to choose? This is teaching you something about what you want when you are finally ready to choose partnership. But like these cards aren't about choosing the partnership yet. So it's like, look at the conflict this brings up and look at in how you want to choose partnership and also what this taught you. So again, I still stand by kind of what I was saying before, where it'd be like, if she was sitting here with me, and this is where my approach to tarot is a little bit how some people would say more like therapy, because I would say, what did you learn? Like, I feel like you learned something big in here. And she would be like, well, I opened my heart to love and he has a small penis. And I would be like, okay, well, this is why maybe you're not choosing the partnership yet, but there's a deep learning in this and the conflict that it's bringing up for you. Like, It's funny because that Hanged Man reverse also makes me think, though, that like if she would have not ended it, if she would have just like that Hangman reverse makes me think it would almost reveal naturally how to like end it or move on versus like it being so like distraught, you know?
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I think she continues.
The regular is too funny because
that is like, very funny.
We know her. We know she needs to have sex on the regular. So like this isn't her guy.
Okay, so then I think Miranda would actually come and she would pretend that she doesn't believe in it and she doesn't have time for it. So I'm guessing that she would actually ask you, is she ever going to make partner at her law firm and how fast?
Okay. Oh my God. These are so good. What about... And it's funny because this is like, I don't know their birthdays or their signs, but Miranda reads as like, which is interesting because this would probably poke at her even the way you just said, because I would say to her, oh, you're actually very, very in tune with yourself and with others. Your intuition is very, I actually look at this card and the example of how she handled where I kept saying, oh, she did a good job of being like, let's talk about this, stay in bed. This is like her intuition in a very sweet and like loving way. And she's connected to the moon. She's connected to herself. And the cards would read, it might feel a little frustrating right now at work. But we love everyone you work with and they see your worth and listen to your intuition and helping guide you how to get to where you want as partner. But I see partnership.
Excellent. I also think she's a Capricorn, but I may be wrong.
Oh, interesting. Which Capricorns can seem, that would make sense because it can seem that very like harsh, but when actually they are very sensitive. So that makes sense.
Yeah. I haven't thought about this at all. I'm just kidding. I think about this all day, every day.
Wait, by the way, and Miranda's song is Cut Your Teeth, which is all about doing something new, which would be the partner, like going in his partner.
Amazing. Okay, then I'm gonna leave Charlotte for the last because I think that was the most interesting. So Carrie would come and she would explain to you everything about how this is the man of her dreams, but like he refuses to let her in, and she would tell you all about like the mother and church and this and that. Does he
You're
love
so
me?
right. And she would keep wanting to talk and like tell all the details.
Yeah. And then she would ask you, does he love me?
Just big love. So good. Okay. The first card is one that is like very like the Seven of Pentacles is very grounded, and it would tell me to tell her what feels like it is worth it. This is a return on in your investment. There's a return on your investment. So to me, that is like the work that you're putting into this relationship, what you're trying to grow here is worth it for you to try and grow. But the middle card is like, don't be delusional. I wouldn't say this to her, but this card between you and I, if you were asking about your friend, Carrie, I'd be like, she can be a little delusional sometimes. But what I would actually say to her about this, I would say, he's not ready to choose the ultimate commitment yet, or he's not ready to choose this. But then the future card is like, there is so much possibility for a beautiful partnership here.
Which it did happen. Well done.
Okay, let me look at her song.
Okay.
Oh my God. And her song, Still Not a Player. My big pun.
No way.
It's so good. Oh my God. I could do this. By the way, I could do this all day. I could do this all day. Like, just go through TV shows and talk about, right?
Okay, and lastly, our girl Charlotte.
Okay.
So Charlotte would come to you and she'd be like, oh, no, I don't have any specific question. Actually, I do. Am I going to get married?
Okay. What are we going to tell? Okay. My cards brought it in a very dark way. Remember I said the one that she went to was not like dark. Mine are like, listen, you're not the Fool reverse. The Fool upright would be like, you're ready for the next phase in life. You're ready. You're ready.
Yeah.
This is upside down. Is like, you are very close to being ready for the next phase in life. But you need to get rocked. You need to, there is an emotional block. You are like, if I would read this, I would say, and actually, if she were sitting here right now and she were saying this, how I would read this to the person, I would say, oh my God, you've been through something that has shaken you to the core and has brought up so much emotion and is like really, like, to me, my cards are reading this as if she just went to all those other psychics and she's like, I'm not getting married. And I would be like, you have been pained and you are feeling traumatized and all the emotion and you're not sure what to do with it. And my cards are saying you need to work on yourself and getting stronger in who you are in yourself, and then you will be ready for that next phase. So my cards gave like the harsh reality for her.
Okay, and what is her song?
When you said it, I was like, what if the same cards come up or like what? But my cards are like, no, we're going to give her the harsh reality, but in a way to be like, but again, this to me is like, you're not ready for it yet. You got to shake this. Like you have to go through this like purging and cleansing of this like emotional block that has not allowed you to get everything you want. And and her song is Waka Waka by Shakira, which I can't even remember the lyrics to that song, but I feel like it's like being cheeky about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like Waka Waka, like
enjoy yourself.
And actually, this isn't in the future, so that's why I would say you're going through it now. You're being rocked now to get you stronger in yourself. And I would probably even tell her some things might even happen in work to help you to really own who you are in yourself to then attract that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So she still is not getting the reassurance that she wants.
No.
But that's it. Okay, Angie. Well, thank you so much. That was the episode. I would love for you to maybe tell our listeners how you work other than by me giving you cues into TV personalities.
Yeah, I do sessions online. I have a tarot deck that I'm really excited to share. I'm going to be doing, and maybe by the time this comes out, I'm starting in a few weeks to do like weekly sessions in a way, not sessions, but sharings with community where we talk about what the cards are talking about, what's happening for the week, and then like a little bit of like learning if people are interested in tarot. But all of that can be found on my website, which is just my name, angiebanicki.com.
Yeah, I'll pop that down. I also subscribe to your monthly horoscope reading, which I love.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Angie. This has been so much fun.
This was so fun, honestly. Like,
I can't wait for them too.
When you sent me that about like we might ask about the girls, I was like, oh, I can't. I've not tried that before. It's always fun with the cards to be like, how will they show up for us?
Yeah. No, I'm happy that worked out.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of And Just Like That, We Found Therapy. As per usual, don't forget to check the show notes for all things related to today's guest. Also, check out my Instagram and TikTok accounts at We Found Therapy Pod. And also, please don't forget to share it, rate 5 stars, and leave me any comments on the pod because it always helps me make a better podcast, but also it helps the podcast in general. And also feel free to DM me. I'm all ears. See you on our next therapy session. I love y'all. Bye.